Hello, what is up? I am so excited that you're here. Honestly, I'm so excited that I am here because I have wanted to make book videos for like 2 years at this point, maybe more. And I did make one, maybe two on my channel like 2 years ago almost. And then I got pregnant and then I had a baby. And so it was just kind of a back burner thing. But I was like, you know what? My baby is 9 months old now, almost, and I actually just put her down for a nap. So I might have 30 minutes to hang out, or I might have 2 hours to hang out. We're gonna play it by ear, we're gonna see. But I figured what better way to kick off the book videos than a fall TBR. Fall, I know a lot of people love summer and love reading in the summer. I love fall. And I love reading in the fall. I don't look very festive. I was like, should I put on like a cozy cardigan or something? I do have a pumpkin spice latte, I will say. So I have a little bit of fall, but I live in Florida and it is like 90 something degrees here right now. So I was like, I cannot put on a sweater. But anyway, I'm so excited to talk to you guys about my fall TBR. She's ambitious. She is ambitious, okay? I do have a baby, like I said, so reading time is very limited compared to what it used to be. These are the books that I'm hoping to read from now, which it's September 2nd when I'm filming this, so like from September 2nd through like the end of November. Those are that's like my goal. Will I get through all of these? Probably not. Am I gonna try my hardest? Abso-freaking-lutely. Let me tell you right now, I am not, if you're looking for like thrillers, mystery, horror, like spooky books, this is not the place for you. I am terrified of those kinds of things. Like I'm truly a baby when it comes to those things. I read with my best friend who is not a reader, but I feel like people who aren't readers, you can kind of like rope them in with like a thriller. So maybe like 3 weeks ago, I'm looking for it on my bookshelf. I coaxed her into reading The Housemaid and I read this with her. I read it in a day and I could not sleep. Like that's the kind of person I am. It's not even scary. It's not even scary. That's just the kind of person I am. So if you're looking for thrillers and mysteries, this probably isn't the video for you. I would love if you still hung out. I'm more of like a fantasy dystopian girly in the fall time. Let's go ahead and jump into my fall TBR. I'm not gonna go in any order or anything. I literally just have 2 giant piles of books here. And then there are a couple that I don't even have like hard copies of because I have them pre-ordered and they're not out yet and all that kind of stuff. I'll do those at the very end. But the first, I have never seen anyone talk about these books ever. And to me, when I think fall, I think Gilmore Girls. I'm in my 30s. I'm a millennial. Fall and Gilmore Girls, they just go together hand in hand. You know what I mean? I got these and I am so excited, y'all. It is 4 Gilmore Girls books. My cousin was visiting from another state and this summer and she had one of these at the pool and I was like, excuse me, what is that? I had never heard of these. She told me that they read like an episode of Gilmore Girls. They're not based on current episodes. It's like new content, if you will. It's not by the same person who created the show. It's like a different author, but there are 4 of them. I paid an absurd amount of money for them on thriftbooks.com. I don't want to talk about it, okay? She found hers at Goodwill for like $2. Also don't want to talk about that. There are 4 of them. They're super, super thin, like easy reads. Cannot wait. Truly cannot wait to read these this fall. I got them a couple weeks ago, but I was saving them for fall time. So they're called Gilmore Girls, I Love You, You Idiot. I Do, Don't I? Like Mother, Like Daughter, The Other Side of Summer. So cannot wait. Cannot wait to report back. A lot of people on Instagram, when I showed these on my stories, they were like, why do we not know that those exist? Honestly, I don't know. Same. I feel you. So I'll report back and let you know how those are. But those are definitely on my fall TBR. Second, this is a series. Will I finish the whole series? I don't know. But I for sure am going to read book 1. I have the whole series here. They're not in order because my daughter comes and sits on the floor here and just rips my books out of my bookshelf and then I just haphazardly put them back. So they're not in order when I hold them up. But it is the Shatter Me series. I have heard so much about this series, like so much. You probably have as well. And I'm gonna be very honest with you. If you go on my Goodreads, I think I have rated this one and the second one. I read them right after Everly was born. I do not remember a thing. I was like in newborn fog. My brain was like an actual bowl of mashed potatoes, and I was just reading during like night feeds and stuff to try to like give me something to do and keep me awake. I could not tell you one thing that I read in these books. So I'm restarting the whole series because I have no clue what's going on. The only thing that I know about them, these are all of them. Like I said, this is not the order that they go in, but this is the whole series. From what I've heard, they are so quick. Like you fly through them. The way that the author has it, like has them formatted, I guess. I'm really excited to get back into this series. It looks like a lot, but like I said, people say that they fly through them. I think I said this, they are dystopian novels. I don't know if they're YA or not, honestly. The only thing I know about the books, I've heard of Aaron Warner. I think that's his name. Like one of the male main characters, and people are obsessed with him. And honestly, I want to know what the hype is about with Aaron Warner. But what I do know about the series, it's about Juliet, and her touch is lethal. Like it's fatal. People die when she touches them. That's all I know about the series. That's it. That's enough to like rope me in. Like to me, that is so intriguing, and I'm like, wait, what do you mean? But also from what I've heard, because I've watched a few vlogs of people reading this, but it's like spoiler free. From what I've heard, like she doesn't want to kill people. So like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm very, very intrigued by this series. I've heard that the character development, like throughout the whole series, is really, really fun to just kind of get to know the characters and watch them like evolve. So super stoked to get into these this fall. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna read all of them, but I'm gonna try my best. I'll definitely read the first one for sure. Pile number 2. So this one I added at the last minute just because it's been sitting on my TBR since it came out. Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. This is the third one in the series. I think the other two are behind me. Yeah, they're behind me. They're cozy mysteries. So technically, I do have a mystery on my fall TBR. It's more of like a comedic mystery. I read the first 2 when I was pregnant, I'm pretty sure. They're just so cozy, so fun. I actually laughed out loud when I read them. I don't know what this one is about at all. The first one, like the series, starts off with Finlay. She's a writer, and she is at a Panera Bread, which I don't know why I love that it takes place like at a Panera Bread. Like that's just so cozy to me. But anyway, she is at Panera Bread having a meeting with, I don't remember, like her editor or something like that. They're discussing, she writes like murder mystery type books, and so they're discussing like her next book, and someone overhears, and this isn't a spoiler, it's on the back of the book. Somebody eating at the restaurant overhears their conversation and thinks that she's like a murderer, like that she like kills people for like the yeah. So this lady that overhears like slips her phone number, and she's like, call me, like basically I want to hire you to kill someone. Finlay, she's hurting for money. And so she's kind of like, hold on a second, like, so yeah, I'll leave it at that. It's so funny. It's one of, I don't laugh out loud a lot when I read. I laughed out loud at the first one. The second one was okay, loved the first one, so I'm excited to see like what is going on in the third one. I think, does the third one follow her best friend? Barrow is her best friend. She is hysterical. She's mostly who I laughed at in the first one. Anyway, super cute little fun mysteries. They're very fast reads. Like you don't need a lot of brain power. And as a mom, those are the kind of books that I'm after in this season of my life. Next one, I have another series. This has been on my TBR for an embarrassing amount of time, like embarrassing. The Cruel Prince. I don't remember what the trilogy is called. Folk of Air, maybe? Is that another one? I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I have tried to read The Cruel Prince twice. Once was before I really got back into reading a couple years ago, so I was just kind of like, nah, I don't care. Second time, I had just had Everly, and I was like, I cannot follow what is happening right now. It's not even a hard read, but like mom brain, mashed potatoes, you know, I already told you. I have wanted to read this series for so long. I don't know why. I really don't even know what it's about at all, but I've heard that the second 2, which the first one is The Cruel Prince. I don't even know which one is the second one. The Queen of Nothing, and then The Wicked King. I don't know like the order that they go in, but I have heard that these 2 are absolutely incredible, and that this one's like good, but these are great. So I really want to power through this one to get to these 2. I'll read the back to you because like I said, I really don't even know like what these are about. Jude was 7 when her parents were murdered Okay. And she and her two sisters were stolen away to live in the treacherous high court of Fairy. 10 years later, Jude wants nothing more than to belong there, but many of the Fae despise humans, especially Prince Cardan. I've heard about him before, like on reels and stuff. The youngest and wickedest son of the High King. And I could be saying his name wrong. I don't really know. To win a place at the court, Jude must defy him and face the consequences. From #1 Time New York Times bestselling author Holly Black comes the first book in a stunning trilogy filled with twists and enchantment as one girl learns the meaning of true power. Okay, and it says don't miss the sequel, The Wicked King. So I'm guessing this is #2, and then The Queen of Nothing is #3. Wow, look at us figuring things out together. I have just heard so many good things about this. Like, it's one of those things that I have FOMO about. I think that's why I really want to read it. Also, my dog is snoring behind you, so if you hear him making snorts, that's what that is. I have FOMO, and I really just want to make this happen. Okay, so that's why this series is on my TBR. I have 4 more like physical books that I'm going to show you, and then I'll show you the ones that I have on like pre-order that aren't here yet. So this one I'm terrified of, like, because it's a genre that I am not familiar with. Red Rising. It's sci-fi. I've heard so many people just have nothing but raving reviews about this book. People are crying when they're reading it. And it's like the best series they've ever read. And I'm just like, whoa, what? I think it's a trilogy. I'm not sure. The complete Red Rising trilogy. So the first book, I only have the first one. Red Rising, Golden Sun is the second one, and Morning Star is the third one. So I have no idea what it's about. What I've heard is that it's like Hunger Games in outer space. Sign me up. I freaking loved Hunger Games when I was a kid. Like, absolutely loved it. Like, it's one of my comfort series. I really do. Did I read it when I was in high school? Maybe right after high school. I have no clue what I'm getting myself into, but I'm excited to get myself into it. The back, it's really short, so I'll just read it to you. It says, his wife taken, his people enslaved. Driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love, Darrow, ooh, that's kind of a cool name. Darrow will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must become one of them to do so. For the first time, Red will rise. Okay, I'm intrigued. Like I said, I'm a little nervous to read it just because I don't read sci-fi ever, but I have just heard such incredible things about this, and I want to know what's up. Hunger Games in outer space? Like, yeah, let's go. Let's freaking go. Okay, next one is a part of a series. I only have the first book. I'm nervous for this one as well. Throne of Glass. Okay. I also have, comment down below and let me know. I have the Assassin's Blade on my Kindle. I've heard that you're supposed to read that one first, but I've also heard people say, no, read Throne of Glass first. So let me know if you've read the series, which one I should start with, the Assassin's Blade or Throne of Glass. I have both, and I don't know which one to start with. Now, the reason I'm nervous about this, okay, you can see ACOTAR up here. Am I sweating? No. Not yet. ACOTAR's here. I've read the first 3 books. I have the 4th one on my TBR cart over here. I have the novella and Silver Flames over here. How should I say this? I liked them, but I didn't love them. That's why I'm taking a break from finishing the series. And I know that people are diehard for ACOTAR, and I wanted to be. That is why I put them off for so long. Reading really, really, really hyped books scares me sometimes, because those were the first Sarah J. Is it Sarah J. Maas or Sarah J. Moss? I've heard both. Anyway, those were the first books I read by her because people told me to start with ACOTAR. And like I said, I like them. A Court of Mist and Fury, I loved. I cried. I had goosebumps like at the end. I loved that one. First one, I was kind of bored. I had to read it 3 times to get through it, like start and stop like 3 times, because I was just like, what do people see in this? Third one, did not like. To me, it was very chaotic. I won't get into it. I'm not talking about those right now. So that's why I'm a little nervous to start Throne of Glass, because I didn't absolutely love ACOTAR. But I've heard that this is like a completely different vibe, and people have DM'd me telling me that they think I will really like the female main character in this one. So I'm more excited about this series than ACOTAR, and I have lower expectations than I had going into ACOTAR, which I think is a good thing. Again, comment down below, let me know if you've read the series, if you think I should start with this one or the Assassin's Blade, because I really have no clue. So that one is on my fall TBR. Next one, this is the one that I think I'm the most excited about, besides the Gilmore Girls ones. Like, come on. I've heard so much about this, Divine Rivals. Now, I know very little about it, but from what I have heard about this one, it's two people, and I'm pretty sure they're enemies, question mark. They write letters back and forth, but from what I've heard, the girl is actually writing letters to her brother. I don't know if they're like apart because of a war or something, but she's writing letters to her brother and she's putting them in a wardrobe and like hoping that they find their way to him, like magically, I think. But he's not getting the letters. Her enemy is getting the letters, but he's writing back to her. But I don't think they know that they're writing to each other. Maybe he knows it's her, but she doesn't know that it's him. But I have heard, like, this book, I've seen it take the top place for people, like, of their favorite book of all time. Like, it's knocking their favorite book of all time down, and this is taking the place, and I'm just like, what? Let's read the little synopsis together because I really do want to know a little bit more about it. It says, when two young rival journalists, oh, they're journalists. I love that. I was in yearbook in high school, so let's go. When two young rival journalists find love through a magical connection, they must face the depths of hell in a war between gods to seal their fate forever. Okay, I still don't really know what is going on, but I'm intrigued, which is a good thing. The longer blurb says, after centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again. But 18-year-old Iris Winnow just wants to hold her family together. Her mother is suffering from addiction and her brother is missing from the front lines. Her best bet is to win the columnist promotion at the Oath Gazette. To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother. See, I was on par. And slips them beneath her wardrobe door where they vanish into the hands of Roman Kit, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. Okay, so it's her rival at the paper. And he anonymously writes Iris back. Okay, so she doesn't know it's him. The two of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle. For her brother, the fate of mankind in love. Divine Rivals is an epic enemies to lovers fantasy novel filled with hope and heartbreak and the unparalleled power of love. Okay, sold. Immediately sold. I'm flipping through because I want to see if we get to read like the actual letters, and we do. Oh my gosh. I love when books have like letters, text messages, emails. I eat that up. I cannot wait to read this. I am so excited. That is on my fall TBR. And then the last one that I have like my hard copy of, The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This is another one. I know nothing about it. I just saw a lot of people talking about it who have similar book taste as I do. And so I was like, okay, add to cart immediately. So this, I know it's a fantasy and that's all that I know. I've never read anything by Carissa Broadbent. Is that how you say it? It says this is part of the Nightborn duet. So this is book one. There's one more other one. I know it has to do with vampires. And I've never read a book about vampires other than Twilight when I was in high school, which was a very long time ago. I'm 33, so you do the math. But it says, ooh, this one's short, so I'll read the little blurb to you. It says, do you want to change this world, little serpent? Then climb your cage until you are so high no one can catch you. Break its bars and make them your weapons. Nothing is sharper. Once you win, the world is yours. That is the time for dreaming. But this is the time for conquering. Okay, kind of vague, but a lot of people who I have spoken to who have read this, 5-star read for them, and it's like their top read of 2023 so far. So honestly, this is another one I have FOMO about, and I just really want to like be in on what's going on. So I'm really excited to give this one a read. Like I said, it'll be my first vampire read since Twilight, so like a few decades ago. We're excited about that. This one is not YA, I don't think. I don't really know which ones of these are YA and which ones aren't, so I don't know, you can look it up on Goodreads. Okay, and then let me grab my phone and also take a sip of my coffee as it's sitting here becoming watered down. Amazing. Okay, actually it still tastes great. Love that for me. So, okay, the books that I have on my fall TBR that I don't have physical copies of because they're on pre-order. This one is the one that I am the most excited about. Like, I know I keep saying that about some of these. This is it, okay? It is the sequel to Fourth Wing. I read Fourth Wing a few months ago. I know you've heard of it. Everyone's heard of it. I'm very, very bummed that I don't have the sprayed black edges. I don't want to talk about it, okay? Okay. This is my top book of 2023 so far. Like I said, I'm very apprehensive going into like overly hyped books just because I don't want to be let down. I was not let down. I was not let down at all. This book was so good. It gave me, oh, and I think, did I even say Iron Flame is book 2 and it comes out in November. So like the tail end of my fall TBR, but I cannot wait. Like I cannot wait. It's the book that I'm most excited about, like on my pre-order list. And I think I have like 9 or 10 books on my Amazon pre-order list, like waiting to come in. This book was reminiscent for me of like Harry Potter, Divergent, Hunger Games, like back when I was reading those. Like I read those kind of books when I was in, I think I started Harry Potter in 5th grade. I'm not joking. I think that's when it came out, is when I was in the 5th grade. And so like books that I grew up reading, like my comfort series, this is the, I am like, since I've been a reader my whole life, since reading those series that I just named, I have been chasing the feeling that Harry Potter gives me. Like it's a comfort series. I love it. I've read it probably like 5 times all the way through, and I can never find another series that like gives me the same feelings. This is the closest I've ever gotten, like hands down. It is so good, so good. If you haven't read it, just read it. Just read it, okay? If you don't like it, you don't have to continue the series, but if you're a Harry Potter girly, just read it, okay? It's not a similar story. It just like gave me the same feelings. So this one, it's about a 20-year-old named Violet Sorrengail, I'm pretty sure is her last name. And she goes to is it a war college, I think? She goes to this college and she has been training her whole life to be a scribe, somebody who works in the library. She is viewed as weak in like her world because she's small, she's frail. When she gets to like the college and it's time to like go off into your or I don't know what they're called, like your whatever you're studying. So like there's scribes, there's healers, there's writers. Her mom is like, actually, I know you've been training to be a scribe your entire life, but you're actually going to become a writer. So good luck, have fun. Becoming a writer, writing dragons is a writer. It is the most dangerous one. And obviously I just said she's viewed as like small, frail, weak. So she's terrified, right? So good, so good. I loved watching Violet kind of come into herself. She became more confident. She's an undercover badass, y'all. Like she is like, it's so good. It's so good. I read this in like 2 days and she's pretty thick. Like she's pretty thick. Good. So anyways, it ends on a cliffhanger that I did not see coming. Like the twist at the end of this, I actually dropped the book and my jaw like dropped and I was just like, what? So I cannot wait to get my hands on the second one to see where we're going. And I've heard that this is going to be made into a 5-book series, I think. Kind of sucks that we have to like wait for them to like come out like years and years and years, but like cool that we get to read it like as it's happening. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I'm very excited about Iron Flame. Another one that I have on my list that I don't have a copy of, A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. It is the follow-up to these two, which is the Once Upon a Broken Heart book and then the Ballad of Never After. Go along, they're kind of like fairy tale-esque fantasy books. I absolutely love them. The first one, which is Once Upon a Broken Heart, got me out of a reading slump after I had my daughter. So I, like I said, read a couple books when she was like a newborn and they all flew out of my brain because I had no idea what I was reading because mashed potato brains. But then I just like kind of stopped reading for a few months because I was like, I am not retaining anything. And then I was like, I miss reading. I need to read for my mental health. And so I picked up Once Upon a Broken Heart and it was so good. I devoured it. I read the second one and then I found out the third one is coming out in October and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. So it's about the first one. Obviously, it's kind of hard to talk about what sequels are about without spoiling anything, but the first one is about the main character's name is Evangeline and she makes a deal with a fate. His name is Jax. She doesn't want the love of her life to marry someone else. So she makes a deal with Jax to stop the wedding. So when you make a deal with a fate, there's some things you gotta do. And so it was just, I don't know, it was just so fun and like kind of like an easy fantasy to get into because it's like not complicated. It's just like, I don't know, it was a fast read. You don't have to use your brain too much. And a lot of fantasies you do, but that one you don't. That's why I loved it. It was just a fun story to kind of follow along with. Second one ended on a cliffhanger. So cannot wait for the third one to see what's up. So that one is, like I said, coming out in October, I'm pretty sure. And then the last one on my TBR for the fall time is called Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I'm actually gonna pull it up on Goodreads. Please hold, because I have no idea what it's about. Okay, and this one is already out, but I just ordered it from Amazon and it hasn't come in yet. It actually like took 2 weeks for it to come in. Like I don't know if it's like one of those books that like sold out because the hype was so big or something, but it has a 4.49 rating on Goodreads. I heard one person talk about it, Sarah Caroli, and she was like raving about it. So I was like, okay, I'll buy it. So I'm gonna read the little about to you guys. I haven't read it yet, so we're gonna learn together what this book is about. Just the cover gave me fall vibes. That's the best explanation I have to you as to why it's on my fall TBR, okay? So it says, she is the very thing he spent his whole life hunting. He is the very thing she spent her whole life pretending to be. Already intrigued. Only the extraordinary belong in the kingdom of Ilya, the exceptional, the empowered, the elites. The powers these elites have possessed for decades were graciously gifted to them by the plague, though not all were fortunate enough to both survive the sickness and reap the reward. Those born ordinary are just that, ordinary. Okay, so we have like different dynamics of like castes almost, it sounds like. And when the king decreed that all ordinaries be banished in order to preserve his elite society, lacking an ability suddenly became a crime, making Peyton Gray a felon by fate and a thief by necessity. Surviving in the slums as an ordinary is no simple task, and Peyton knows this better than most. Having been trained by her father to be overly observant since she was a child, Peyton possesses as a psychic in the crowded city, blending in with the elites as best she can in order to stay alive and out of trouble. Easier said than done. When Peyton unsuspectedly saves one of Ilya's princes, she finds herself thrown into the purging trials. The brutal competition exists to showcase the elite's powers, the very thing Peyton lacks. Okay, I'm getting Hunger Games vibes, kind of. If the trials and the opponents within them don't kill her, the prince she's fighting feelings for certainly will if he discovers what she is, completely ordinary. Yeah, it's giving Hunger Games. So I love Hunger Games. It's one of my comfort series. So definitely excited to read that. But those are all of the books on my fall TBR. Maybe I'll make another video in a couple months and let you know which ones of these I actually read during the fall. I'm pumped about my fall TBR. Like I said, fall is my most favorite time of the year to read. I know a lot of people love reading in the summer. I travel a lot in the summer. Work for me is very busy in the summer. I own a planner company, so we're like getting ready for like our fall launches. Fall is a little bit more of a slow pace for me. So I am so excited to get to read some of these books. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know down below what's on your fall TBR, because I'm always down to add more books to my TBR, even though it's longer than it needs to be. Don't care. Always willing to add more. So give me all the fall book recommendations. Nothing scary. Please, nothing scary. But I love you guys so much. I appreciate y'all, and I hope you have the best day ever.